What's going on, guys? Chandler here. So this is going to be my new segment on my YouTube channel called First Listen Review that is taken from my $5 tier full album reactions. So I react to the entire album, and then at the very end I give my overall thoughts and initial thoughts and a score on the album as a whole. So again, if you do like what you see and want to support the channel going forward, head over to patreon.com/ChandlerBurtonEntertainment. This is exclusive to the $5 tier. Again, you get a full album reaction, review, and a whole bunch of other perks as well if you guys are interested. And again, there's always a link down below in the description and in the pinned comment. But with that being said, I hope you guys enjoy the review, and thank you all so much for watching.
Hey Chandler, how's it going? I actually just got done watching your reaction to Reaper, and I loved the edits. They were hilarious, but I'm glad you enjoyed the song, and I'm also glad you enjoy a lot of our other material. I can give you a little bit of info on the record. All right, so the record, a lot of people are asking if the whole record's going to be like Reaper. No. It will be like Dark Skies in a similar way. There's another heavy song called Eyes Roll Back that we've been playing on our Australia tour. You can see clips of that on YouTube and stuff if you are interested in hearing a cell phone recorded live version of it. The album is a very dark record. It's a very sad record. It's a lot of very big singing choruses, very similar to Dark Skies. In my opinion, they're stronger than Dark Skies as singing choruses, mainly due to the personal nature of this record. A lot of it deals with the kids my wife and I adopted, and just a lot of the pandemic struggles and stuff. So a lot of personal struggles with mental health and just abandonment with the kids and everything. So also the album will be announced and the album art revealed with our next single, which is my personal favorite of the singles. I'll actually let you know that Reaper is probably my least favorite of all of our singles. So that's something. Hopefully that's enough. The only thing I can't give away is the album name or the release date, but hopefully those extra facts helped out. As far as getting on the podcast and stuff, hit up our publicist. She likes to curate the media that we do for our album rollout. So if you want to hit her up, but keep up the good work with the reactions. They're very entertaining, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the record.
All right, my friends, let's go ahead and jump into it here. Fit for a King, The Hell We Create. Starting off with the title track. Let's do it to it. 3, 2, and 1.
A few moments later.
Ooh, that album left me a little bit speechless at times, man. That was so good. I really like that album, man. I can see why people aren't gonna like it. I know some people are gonna say it's too polished, it's too clean, but for me, this is the kind of music that I like, man. I absolutely love Fit for a King, and this is up there for Dark Skies for me, man. I really enjoyed this. Again, I don't hate The Path. This is definitely better than The Path. But this is it, boys. This is the album for sure. I'm gonna give my first listen review, and that is coming up next. So stick around for that. All right, my friends. So again, that was Fit for a King and their brand new album, The Hell We Create. Just got done jamming the entire thing, and I loved it, man. I thought this was like their perfect sound. I do have a little bit of nitpicks with the album here, but nothing that's gonna really lower my score in any way. So let's go ahead and talk about the pros of the album that stuck out to me. Number one, it's got to be Ryan's voice and his screaming and his singing, man. I'm telling you, like, it started out a little bit on Slave to Nothing, like on that album, and then it kind of did 50-50 with Tuck on Death Grip, and then it kind of took over the majority on Dark Skies and on The Path. And I feel like on this album, he really has found his sound and his scream and his singing. Again, I prefer the melodic stuff on this album over like the heavier songs. You know, obviously we have Reaper and Eyes Roll Back, which are really cool songs, but I prefer the ones with like the majority of the singing. I thought it sounded absolutely fantastic because what he's able to do with his voice now is incredible. He is an inspiration of like doing, like if you want to achieve something and you work at it, you can absolutely achieve your goal. Because I've seen him do like covers of like Breaking Benjamin. I've seen him do covers of Mice and Men, The Amity Affliction, and like Killswitch Engage, and he sounds fantastic. And so he's put in the work in being a vocalist. And for anybody wanting to be a vocalist out there, like he is the inspiration that you need to follow to become like a well-rounded vocalist. I mean, his screams have always sounded fantastic, but his singing is top-notch on this album. Absolutely top, especially on Reaching Out and Fracture, I believe, and Sink Below, like those songs. Absolutely fantastic. So props to you, Ryan. Did an absolutely fabulous job. I also really like the messages on the song. While me saying that I like the messages may sound kind of weird because a lot of it is really sad and it is really depressing especially what Ryan went through over these past couple of years, again, like with his kids and like his wife almost passing away and all this depression and anxiety that he's been dealing. You can really feel the emotion of these songs here. And I think it's so cool that Fit for a King, I consider them like metalcore titans. And I think it's so cool that they're able to put a positive, I'd say a positive message on things that they've gone through to share with other people. Like, this band doesn't swear in their music, and like it's cool like a band like this is getting popular and they're not promoting sex, drugs, and those types of things. I think it's really cool that they're taking these experiences to want to help people like me or other people who are a fan of this band. So I love the message in the song, and I love they're getting that kind of traction to help other people in their time of need. I think it's absolutely just wonderful. I also, again, I do love the blend of melodic and heavy. Like there are some songs on here that remind me of Lorna Shore. There are some songs on here. A lot of it reminds me of like a modern day. Well, I mean, they're not that old. They put out an album a couple years ago, but I guess a modern day version of As I Lay Dying. A lot of the riffs reminded me of that, which I think is really cool. Like, listening to it, I actually felt nostalgic because I was like, man, this reminds me of As I Lay Dying that I used to listen to back in the day with my boy Miguel. So I'm like, dude, this is like super sick. But again, I also love the melodic side and I love the heavy side. Like, eyes rolled back, hearing the actual recording of that song that just wasn't on an iPhone sounded phenomenal. That sounded like Creation Destruction like 2.0. It was absolutely terrific. So I love that they give us the heavy and they give us the mixture of like soft and those types of things. They did a really good job at that here. And I would also say I really like the pacing on this album. Again, it's about 38 minutes long. It's not overly long. It's not overly short. And every song fit the runtime perfectly. And I was never bored listening to this album. I thought they did a really good job of placing the songs in a certain spot where it did feel like an emotional journey all the way through it, and I thought they did a terrific job with the pacing of this album. As much as I do love this album, there are two cons for me here that I just felt like I wanted to throw into the first listen review here. You may agree or disagree with my comment on it, but that's completely fine. I just wanted to throw it in here for just to kind of talk about it. So I would say, number one, there are two songs on this album that are just a little bit too repetitive for me here. I would say, of course, we all know Reaper. As much as I do like that song, and again, if the chorus wasn't cool, I feel like that song would probably be my least favorite song on the album, but since the chorus is cool and it works really well, I don't hate the song. But again, listening to it on repeat listens, I'm kind of like, okay, this is a little bit repetitive, but it's still a cool song. But again, it kind of shows the chorus over and over more than it probably should. And then I would also say, like, for me personally, I would love to see more Tuck on the albums going forward. I know Ryan took over the majority of the vocals here, and I know this album is really about him and kind of what he went through, but I would love to see more singing from Tuck. Reaching Out was such a cool song, and Tuck's voice on that song really showcased the emotion, more emotion, like what Ryan was bringing as well. Like, and Tuck's not just like, like that backup singer. He has a really good voice, and so I hope to see more Tuck in the future. Again, I think it's cool that Ryan did take over, and I have no problems with that here, but I would like to see Tuck incorporate a little bit more into the music going forward, because I think he has a phenomenal voice and a really unique voice. Top 3 favorite songs from this album here, I would say number 1 is Sink Below. That breakdown was so sick. Again, I preferred the melodic stuff over the heavy stuff on this album. I thought it was just absolutely fantastic, and the majority of the album does have that half and half, so I do prefer that side of things here. So I'd say Sink Below. Fracture I really liked as well. The emotion on that song was so powerful. That is about Ryan's kids and kind of like what they've kind of been going through when they adopted them and stuff, and just really powerful stuff. I could definitely relate. I do have cousins that are adopted, and so I can definitely understand, like, you know, coming from kind of a rough lifestyle, coming to a family that loves them and cares about them. I've definitely seen that side of things, and so that song was really emotional and powerful for me here. And again, I would say Reaching Out, man, I love that Tuck sang on that song. Him and Ryan worked really well together when it came to that here. That song was perfect. I felt the emotion on that. It even got me a little bit emotional, like listening to it again when I was trying to figure out what songs I wanted to put on for my top 3. So I'd say those are the 3 songs that stuck up to me on the first initial listen of The Hell We Create. Overall, man, I really enjoyed this album. I love Fit for a King, and so obviously I may be a little bit biased when I give it the score, but I thought this album was legitimately fantastic here. I think it's definitely up there with Dark Skies and some of their best material to date here. I think everything about it is wonderful. It's heavy when it needs to be. It is very emotional. They kept talking about on Twitter how emotional this album is, and it is, man. You feel the emotion in these songs of especially what Ryan was going through, and I could definitely relate to some of the depression and anxiety that he's been feeling, and I understand that feeling all too well. And so for me, it absolutely worked. Again, there were just the 2 songs on there, Eyes Rolled Back and Reaper, that I thought were a little bit repetitive. Still really good songs, and again, that may change on this list. I might just say F it. They're really sick songs, but overall, man, this album was so sick. It was so much fun to listen to. Heavy, melodic. These guys are like I keep saying it, like As I Lay Dying with the riffs here. So again, I think they are going to carry the torch for metalcore going forward, man. I can't wait to see them just blow up even more and more over the next coming years. I'm going to give Fit for a King, The Hell We Create, a 9.5 out of 10. Absolutely album of the year contender for me here. We'll see what happens when Dayseeker's album drops next week, but right now, this would absolutely be my album of the year. I think it's just absolutely phenomenal.